interest for innovative solutions in healthcare, teleworking, education, e-commerce, mobility, and more. The GII 2020 also presents its annual ranking based on 80 innovation indicators. The top of the GII is still led by developed economies, with Switzerland, Sweden, and the US leading, followed by the UK and the Netherlands. China is an exception and still the only middle-income economy in the GII top 30, ranking 14th for the second year in a row. The geography of innovation is continuing to shift towards Asia, and for the first time, a second Asian economy, the Republic of Korea, enters the top 10, alongside Singapore, which has been in the top 10 for the past decade. 4 countries have seen the most significant progress in their innovation ranking over the past 10 years: China, Vietnam, India, and the Philippines. The top economies in the Northern Africa and Western Asia region are Israel, Cyprus, and the United Arab Emirates. The Latin America and Caribbean region is led by Chile, Mexico, and Costa Rica. Topping the rankings for middle-income economies are China, Malaysia, and Bulgaria. Tanzania, Rwanda, and Nepal lead their income group. Innovation levels often reflect economic development, with developed countries typically having higher levels of innovation. However, this year there are 25 countries that outperformed relative to their development, including Georgia, Jamaica, Thailand, Morocco, and South Africa. The African continent is growing in innovation importance. Out of 25 economies identified in the GII as outperformers, 8 are from sub-Saharan Africa, with South Africa, Kenya, and Rwanda topping this list. In Latin America and the Caribbean, Jamaica and Costa Rica are the leading outperforming countries. Innovation varies between nations, and it also concentrates in selected cities and regions. The GII 2020 identifies the world's top 100 clusters of science and technology. Tokyo-Yokohama is the top performing cluster, followed by Shenzhen, Hong Kong, Guangzhou, Seoul, Beijing, and San Jose, San Francisco, better known as Silicon Valley. The US continues to host the largest number of clusters, with 25, followed by China, Germany, and Japan. 6 middle-income economies host top 100 clusters: Brazil, China, India, Iran, Turkey, and the Russian Federation. As the world faces innovation uncertainty linked to the global pandemic, support needs to widen beyond the health sector, and government innovation expenditures should offset any falling private sector innovation funding. The GII 2020 calls on business and policy leaders around the world to sustain innovation for the benefit of everyone.
Okay, so you have any questions on that video? Hello, am I audible? Any questions on the video?
You are audible. So people will be, our esteemed faculties will be answering through chat box.
Yes, please.
Yeah.
This is my questions. Any questions on the chat box?
No, ma'am, no.
All right, so I will put some questions and I will expect that the audience will have some answers, right? So what is the reference for measuring an economy's innovation performance according to what we have seen so far? What is the reference? Generally,
Creativity.
it is the Global Innovation Index.
GDP.
That is what we saw in, no, it's what we saw, there is an index which is called the Global Innovation Index. It is launched from a different country every year. In 2019, it was launched in India. So this is called the Global Innovation Index. That is the reference for measuring an economy's innovation performance. Okay. And what is the difference between an invention and an innovation? Any answers in the chat box, please?
Patents, trademarks, industrial designs.
Yeah, what are those? Those are intellectual property. Now, what is the question is, what is the difference between invention and innovation?
Invention first come creation, innovation improvement.
Yes, that is a brilliant answer. That is the answer I was looking for. You see, invention is the step after an idea, but it cannot immediately go to the market. It needs the innovation process. Invention becomes innovation and then it goes to market. So there are 3 stages. These are the 2 different stages, right? Okay. According to the GII, the video that you just saw, 2020, does India have an innovation cluster? According to the GII 2020, does India have an innovation cluster?
Yes, everyone is putting yes.
Yes, very good. Do you know where that innovation cluster is? Which city?
Bangalore.
Yes, isn't that wonderful? Bangalore is the hub of the innovation cluster. Of course, there are lots of, these days, innovation cluster does not require physical proximity. Everything is virtual, but Bengaluru is the hub of the innovation cluster in India. What is China's rank in the GII?
Fourteen.
Yes. What is India's rank in the GII?
48.
Yes, very good. Everybody paid attention at least. That's very good. Right. So I have something to tell you here. This is how the entire unique selling proposition, including the IPR, can be visualized. You have the function where you have the IPR, which may be a patent or a trade secret or a trademark at the core of your unique selling proposition, and that usually has the technical benefit. After that, you have something called the expression, which will be a copyright, which would be the story about the benefit, right? You describe, for example, if you have an invention about a machine, the patent will describe the function. Then you will have a manual, for example, a manual about the machine. That would be covered by a copyright. That is also an intellectual property right. That encompasses the patent in the manual and it is protected by a copyright. That is the story about the benefit. And then the entire thing is branded. You have a trademark, right? So that will cover the entire thing. When a person looks at that brand, they identify, oh, this is that invention. They understand it. So that brand can be a trademark and that is the source of the benefit. This is how the entire thing, that is the IP regimes, the intellectual property regimes and the unique selling propositions usually function together. Now, for an example, we have the example of the Dyson Airblade. Function, what is the function is there in a US patent. All right, US patent is there, which tells about the function of that particular invention. then it is protected by a copyright, which is the manual. That is the story about the benefit, right? And then what is the trademark, or what is the source of the benefit? You see how it is written, Dyson Air Blade. You immediately come to know what the intellectual property is about. This is how everything comes together, right? Now, how does it go from there into the innovation? There is an innovation radar. All right. So you have all these things which come together. You have a presence as to where it is sitting, right? Like earlier, even a couple of years earlier, proximity was a huge factor, right? You have to be located close together. The place where there is a manufacturing happening, that is where the client presence has to be there, and that is where you have to take the goods to, right? Presence. But now virtual and online uh, communications are so strong, presence becomes diluted, networking takes on, right? Networking is very important, supply chain is very important now, organization, the brand, of course, what, the exact stuff that you're taking to market for the innovation, that is very important. What is the process? How are you capturing the value? What is the customer experience? Who are the customers? What is the solution that you're offering? What is the platform? So this is the innovation radar, which will take the invention from the laboratory bench to the market. So you see, there are so many domains which are important. Even a couple of them, if they are strengthened, then the invention very easily becomes an innovation. Now, just to look, this is from the last GII. I have taken some information. So how the brands, take the country up. 25 global brands by value and origin, right? Toyota has taken Japan very, very high. Republic of Korea, Samsung has contributed. Germany, Volkswagen and Mercedes-Benz. China has a whole lot of stuff that has taken it very, very high. United States of America, you see Amazon, Google, Apple, Microsoft, these are all brands. These are all intellectual property. Saudi Arabia has Aramco. Netherlands has Shell. So you see, these are brands. These brands, when people look at it, they recognize that is where the innovation is happening. But the innovation, it encompasses an invention. So you see how the top countries on the innovation index, how they are supported by brands. You can see it in this picture. Brands are also a form of intellectual property. So this is something I wanted to show. And networking, how important it is, and the clusters. You see Bengaluru is here in this cluster, you can see this. But which are the other ones? You see Paris, right? You see San Jose, you see New York, you see Frankfurt, Tokyo, Boston, Shanghai, London, Beijing, all these clusters. These are innovation clusters. Proximity is no longer an issue because networking happens virtually online, right? Innovation has taken an altogether new dimension. Collaborations, corporations, working together, networking, talking, finding out, webinars, right? Teleconferencing, video conferencing, virtual presence. It's no longer a question of going there and being located. You can talk to anyone, anywhere, and take your invention to being an innovation, right? Okay. So here we have some examples, and we're looking at exactly how each thing works into taking an invention from being an idea or just a prototype to an innovation. A brand, you can leverage a brand into new domains, right? Network, you create network-centric, intelligent and integrated offerings. Presence, you have new distribution channels and innovative points of presence, right? Supply chains, you think differently about sourcing and fulfillment. Organization, how you change the form, function or activity and scope of the firm. Process, how do you redesign core operations? Value capture, how you can get paid and create new revenue streams. Customer experience, What are the customer interactions across all touch points? What are the unmet customer needs? Who are the customers? What are the solutions you're looking for? And so on. And you can keep all this in mind and develop innovative new products or services. So this is how IPR becomes an innovation. Keep this radar in mind and the whole thing becomes clearer to you. So now we put in different examples. Of Sabyasachi. How many of you have heard of Sabyasachi? Yes, no, or in the chat box, please.
Yes.
Okay, what does Sabyasachi do?
Makeover, fashion designing.
Yes, yes, excellent. So you know what Sabyasachi does, but is it limited to that? Is it limited to that?
No.
So
Costume
Sabyasachi,
design.
yes, Sabyasachi started with making, apparels, dress, right? It started with doing dress, but then it understood that if you want to enter a European market, it has to leverage its brand, that is Sabyasachi, and shake hands with another brand to enter another market. So there is a brand called Christian Louboutin in Europe, right? They make the red undersoles for shoe. That is their stuff. Now Sabyasachi shook hands with Christian Louboutin and brought shoes with Indian designs on them to the European market. You see how the brands are shaking hands and going into bigger markets. And IPR, what is the IPR here? Sabyasachi, the name. And they have their intellectual property in their design patents in India. They make apparels, but they see there is a market in Europe for shoes and a market in Europe for Indian designs, and how they leverage it. That is networking. They shake hands with another company and they take the Indian design into the European market. Do they stop here? No, they don't stop here. So do we all know who L'Oreal is? What does L'Oreal do? Can we get some answers in the chat box, please?
Makeup items, cosmetics, products.
Yes.
Cosmetic
Yes.
brand.
Right. Do we know L'Oreal in India? Has L'Oreal already entered the Indian market?
Yes.
Yes. Now, Sabyasachi shakes hands with L'Oreal, and you see we have these cosmetics. We are all familiar with L'Oreal and Sabyasachi. Sabyasachi has that, that tiger going across, and L'Oreal's brand, and they have elevated the entire makeup thing in India. You see here on the left-hand top, L'Oreal plus Sabyasachi. Together, collaborations are happening. Sabyasachi did not stop there. It did brilliantly by shaking hands also with Thomas Good, which is a 200-year-old British luxury retailer, and it's recognized as being the home of the world's finest tableware, silverware, glassware, and they put the Indian designs on that crockery. You see the Sabyasachi, the tiger in the center, that is an Indian design on the British crockery and stuff like that, and it entered the British market over there. Then do we know Forever Mark, which is a diamond brand from a European group? They made Indian designs and they entered the European market. And that's how the name Sabyasachi now is known all over Europe. It is known all over the West. So that's how IPRs help with innovation. This is all part of the hybrid between invention and innovation. And that's what we need. Okay, we'll skip some of these because we have many of these examples. I'm sure you're all aware of the ID batter, right? It's something which is very local and known in our state. Started off with a very small patent. Here is the patent. by ID Fresh Food India Private Limited in Dodden Industrial Area, Whitefield Road, Mahadevpura, Bangalore. That's where they started, and they applied for a small patent for ID batter, and how I think it was for the vada, this gadget with which you can make vadas. Yeah, here they discovered unmet customer needs and identified undeserved customer segments. Breakfast is always a problem in the morning, so they came out with a whole array of stuff which makes things easier. This was the crux, this was the basis, but then it became so much more than just that, right? They had so many milestones. Now it's a huge industry, it has lots of milestones, it's all over, every house knows this name. And they were a startup, and they understood the unmet demand of ready to cook food with fresh ingredients, no preservative, developed distribution channels, technology to support, geo mapping, geotagging, targeted the breakfast food category, patented packaging technology, and they captured the value. Similarly, Uber. Do we know Uber? Do we know what does Uber do? Can we see some answers in the chat box, please?
Cab services, taxi services.
Yes, taxi services. And similar, what is the equivalent, our Indian equivalent for these taxi services? We have another company doing similar stuff. Yes, absolutely right. So what they have done is they have redesigned core operating process to improve efficiency and effectiveness. Are all the patents theirs? No. They have acquired the patents. They have acquired patents from Google, Waldeck, Intel. You see all the companies, they have put it together and identified and acquired third-party patents, patent portfolios, and complemented its platform. And they have made this beautiful system of Uber. This is innovation, right? You need a taxi, you press a button on your phone and you have it there. It's a huge thing, meets an unmet segment, right? Requirement, and takes the invention from just something which is, very passive to something which is operative, something that is making a difference. Flipkart, we are all aware of similar things. And now we go on. Any questions on what we have seen so far? We go on to another module now. On the innovation canvas, do we have any questions?
No, madam.
All right. So generally, if you have an idea, you filter it and you sift out what is the best idea. And we've looked at ID. So they have done this. We also look at this picture. Now we are in a situation where there is a pandemic, there is COVID, right? So there is a triadic relation. There is innovation management, there is crisis, and there is patents. You see the relationship, which is something which, in the center you have the problem and you are trying to see where is the crisis. Is it the disease? Is it the management of the disease? Is it, the post-op problems? What is the science that is happening? What are the patents that is happening? There is a relationship, sort of like this picture. Now, what are the patents which are happening? Which are the companies which are having most of the R&D, and how? You see, it's not as if just one company has the patents and they are not related to anything. There is always an overlap. You see all of them. The BioNTech, that is the one which was acquired by Pfizer, right? That is the one which is very, very popular in the West. Then Moderna, right? And then there is CureVac, Arbutus. You see, all these are the big ones, right? We also, they're always joint. Can you see this picture clearly on your screens? You see, there are provisional. NIH is a huge institution. It has filed many provisional patents, but the technology goes via joint ownership about the spike protein patent application. Moderna takes it. There are connections with BioNTech. There are sub-licenses, right? License agreements. So the whole architecture of this network is so complex, you see. Technology diffuses, you see. It is not limited. And that is good, because that's how you get an innovation, you see. Pfizer took over the BioNTech, the entire portfolio from BioNTech. Moderna, of course, pledged and it is in the public domain. It's being given freely. CureVac has its own things going on, its own R&D happening. Many things are challenged, you see. People question it. This is a very important situation, the networking, the collaborations which are possible in today. Any questions on this picture? It is a very important picture. All right. So here, what are the top 20 firms by patent asset index? You see, these are the various, and ours, the one which we use, that Covishield, AstraZeneca is right here. You can see that, right? And there are the other Moderna Therapeutics, a very big one in the United States, very popular. So these are the top 20 firms by the patent asset index. But do you see BioNTech or Pfizer here? What I want to emphasize here is it's not necessarily the number of patents that you have that determines your innovation, right? If you are not able to take it to market, innovation does not happen. If you're not able to network, if you're not able to collaborate, if you're not able to streamline the utilization of that patent, then it doesn't make sense. So here, the things that have come to market, those portfolios and those patent asset index are shown in this picture. Now, how do you make a business model canvas? You have to identify key partners, right? What are the key activities, the key resources? What are the value propositions, customer relationships, channels of distribution, segments, cost structure, and revenue streams? So you can make a canvas like this. It's called a business model canvas. Put it all together. And then, for an example, I take this, which is called a pressure-based mobile phone charger. Okay. This has a device which is installed inside a shoe's inner sole, and the walking motion exerts pressure on the piezoelectric crystal. Now, this has a patent in the United States. Mr. Mutua is an entrepreneur who is in Kenya. He knows that charging a mobile phone is a difficult business because you might not have connection points everywhere. You have to go long distance walking. So what he does is he explores this US patent application and sees it's not filed in Kenya, right? How is it of an advantage to him if it is not filed in Kenya? Can I get some answers from the audience in the chat box, please? How is it of interest? How is it of an advantage if a patent is not filed in a country of your interest and you are interested in that technology? How does that make sense to you?
No answer, ma'am.
Okay. So, okay, tell me this. If you file for a patent in India, right, can you get legal protection in China? Just yes or no.
No.
No. So similarly, if somebody has filed, here it is Bradbury phase, he has filed for a patent in the United States. Can he get patent protection in Kenya?
No.
Okay, so that's the whole thing. He cannot get patent protection in Kenya. That information that comes out in the patent database is available to him in Kenya to make, use, or sell that, right? So he can pick up that technology and he can make a phone charger in a shoe. Understand? So this US patent application, if it is not, even if it is expired, not expired, doesn't matter, because patents are territorial in nature. You can only protect in the country where you file. In India, how many patent offices do we have and where are they? May we have some answers, please?
Chennai.
Yes, Chennai is good. Where else? Is that the only one answer?
Kolkata, Delhi.
Yes.
Mumbai.
Yes. So we have 4 patent offices, right? But they are all related to each other and it is a consolidated thing. We can file electronically. In India, we are protected. Even if you file in Chennai, you are protected over the entire Indian territory. Okay. So it is all electronic. You file electronically and you get protection over the territory of India. But can you get protection in the United States? Can you get protection in the United States if you file in India?
No.
Correct. So that is what this gentleman did. Mr. Mutua took this technology and he used it to make a startup, to make a company, and he got his uh, business going. So what are the kind of things that you can use? You have enforceable patent rights, right? Patents are valid for a period of how many years is a patent valid for? Maybe have some answers in the chat box, please.
20.
Yes. Yes. From when? Sorry.
Date of filing.
From the date of filing, that is correct. From the date of filing, that is very correct. And what else comes in the public domain? What else comes in the public domain? Public domain includes abandoned applications, cancelled patents, successfully opposed patents, expired patents, right? So you see the core in the center. That is all that you have to be careful about. If you tread on that, then you can get into litigation. Otherwise, the rest is all available to you to make, use, or sell. You have to be careful that you do not touch the private core. Yeah. So now, how did Mr. Mutua make the business model canvas? He identified key partners. Who were the key partners? They were the Kenyan Patent Office for Patent Research, the investors, the shoemakers, you see. And what were the key activities? He assembled parts to be put in shoes, retrofit shoes with chargers, provide shoes and solution feedback. So all this, I will show you the big picture, how he fits. So this is the final business model canvas, right? So you have innovation lab, you have key activities, key resources, cost structures, value proposition. Each thing you fill it up and you take your invention from the idea to the final step, that is the to market. You see? Do you understand this canvas? Any questions on this? Because this is key to the business model canvas, where you take invention from the start to the market. Any questions on this, please?
No, madam.
Everything is understood.
Yes. One question from Wabia: can it be applied in all segments?
Yes, it can be applied in all segments. Can be applied in all segments. Any other questions?
No, madam.
Okay.
No, madam.
Okay, so now let us look at the application in the context of a business model canvas. So we have this one patent application, which is US 2015. Oh, why is it going by itself? So US 2015, this patent application, and we need to find out its legal status. But what is the legal status? Can we use it in India? It has been filed only in the US, right? Can we use this for the business model canvas with India in mind? So we look at this. If it is filed only in the US, can we use this self-sanitizing face mask and method of manufacture, which is a very good invention? Can we use it in India?
No.
You can't use it. Why? It's not protected in India. It has been filed only in the US. Then why can't we use it in India? What is the logic?
Infringement.
It is not infringement. It is not protected in India. If it is not applied for a patent in India, then there is no question of infringement. The point is, if it is not applied for a patent in India, you can make, use, or sell it in India, but you cannot apply for a patent in India. Why? To apply for a patent, you have to meet the criterion of novelty. Novelty is killed because it is already applied for a patent in another country, right? Here, there is no question of infringement. He has not applied for a patent in any other country, only in the US. So you can make, use, or sell this in India. So this is something which you have to understand. And this is the advantage of patent databases. If you examine it carefully, look at the technologies which are available to you. It may be filed in one country, not filed in another country. And if it is of commercial interest to you in that other country, you can make, use, or sell it. Just make sure that you know everything about its legal status. Is that clear? Any questions on this? This is a very important concept. Is this clear?
Yes.
Okay. So now there is another example. Okay. So this is a patent also filed in the United States, US 2010-004065. This is the application number. Okay. And now we want to see this application in the context of the business model canvas. Okay, on examining its legal status, it has filed in Great Britain, Europe, US, Korea, China, and also a PCT application. Now, can we use this information, which is antiviral formulations and nano materials and nanoparticles? Okay, this is in the context of COVID. Can we use this information in India? How do we go about it? Any answers, please?
No answers.
Okay, so what you have to do is you have to look at the legal status of this application in India. When you do that, you see that it has been filed in India as well. There is an Indian number. It has been filed via the Delhi office. The DEL shows you that there is a Delhi office. So then, if it is in force in India, then you cannot make, use, or sell this technology in India if they have entered the Indian jurisdiction. Okay, so now what you do is you look at the legal status of this invention in India. So how do you do that? You look at what is the legal status and you see that there is an examination report which has been created and uploaded in 2016. What does that have? It says that there is a novelty killing. The examiner has given arguments and he has told you are requested to comply with the objections by filing your reply by way of explanation and amendments within 12 months from the date of issue of FER, failing which your application will be treated as deemed to have been abandoned. If it is abandoned, then it comes into the public domain. If it comes into the public domain, then you can make use or sell that invention. Now, he has not answered the examiner. Now what happens? If he has not answered the examiner and he has not complied with the requirements, what happens to that patent application? If you do not answer the examiner's requirements, what happens to the patent application? Any answers, please?
Cancelled. Rejected.
It gets cancelled, it gets rejected. Now, what happens to the technology which has already been published after 18 months? What happens to that technology? It comes into the public domain. So if it comes to the public domain, you can make, use, or sell that invention. So you can use the business model canvas and you can use that information. There is no question of infringement, right? So here is the business model canvas. You find out innovative labs, confirm the status, who are the mask makers, who are the fabric merchants, what are the key activities, right? How do you retrofit? How do you provide solution? What are the key resources? What is the value proposition, right? Quick turnaround, cost to business. What is the customer relationship? Is it cost effective? What are the challenges? What are the customer segments who will benefit? Doctors, nurses, patients, etc., right? Cost structure, revenue streams, and you make the plan for your business with this. This is just an example. You can apply it to all segments by identifying the right technology. So the right IPR, the right innovation channels, and you have a product in the market. Okay, so that's all I had to share. If you have any questions, please tell me. Yeah. Hello?
Yes. How can we join an innovation cluster?
How can you join an innovation cluster? Okay, so that is usually by networking. You have to go find out whether your interests match. You can send emails, find out what are the channels, what is the innovation that is happening over there, whether it meets your requirements or interests, and then just join. Usually it's an email address or a phone call conversation, and then maybe a personal meeting, and then you join whatever the companies are there.
Ma'am, can you throw light on the government schemes in India to support innovation?
There are many schemes now that will require another lecture. Lots of subsidies are given for patenting, or for uh, starting and for startup India. That is also basically for innovations, for patenting, for all the IPR segments, branding, trademark, everything. This is all part of innovation. So there's a huge lot that is happening. It requires a lot of time, but the KSCST can give you information on that. If you send your exact requirement, that can be answered. For women entrepreneurs, there's lots of subsidies and things like that. Lots of things are happening in India, but you have to be really clear as to what you want. Only then it can fructify into something.
What is the minimum criteria to join an innovation center? Minimum criteria required?
That depends from cluster to cluster, from company to company, from each startup has its own thing. If your technical requirements match, you can become part of a startup, or you can become part of a venture and do. There is no such thing, like it's not as if it is a college and you're seeking admission. It is not like that. It is much bigger and a huge platform. You can be 60 years old, it doesn't matter, but if you have the qualification and you have the stamina to do what is being done, then that's fine.
Next, ma'am, can you throw light on the government schemes? Okay, done. Is there any international body where we can register so that we can get patent protect across the world? No.
There is no such thing as an international patent. No. The laws of each country reign supreme. You have to go through your country first, and then you can designate. That is the PCT process. See, I believe you understand what the entire thing of patenting, patent prosecution process is such that it is basically to protect your innovation in your place of commercial interest. If that, and where you're doing it. So if you are doing an invention in India, you protect it in India first, and then before 12 months, you file or you designate other countries which are of interest to you. You cannot have a worldwide patent. There is no such thing. You have to go country by country. You have to have enough resources, enough budget, enough time to prosecute it in each one of those countries.
Madam, can patents be shared by two countries in times of emergency?
Those things are possible. Those things are happening also. I've shown you the network and joint ownerships and licenses. I showed you that network picture. Yes.
How MSMEs can enhance IPR status towards their sustainability?
They should start with invention capture. When an invention happens, it should not go through, if you put in a lot of hierarchy and a lot of bureaucracy and a lot of hurdles, then no invention will go to market. It will sit in the lab. So you should have a process where there is an encouragement for invention capture, and then go through the process of patent prosecution, have the patent, and even when you are going through it, you try to negotiate to bring it to market. Use the title, patent in process of patenting, like use that title and take it to market. Get support from your organization. Don't cut it like this is the fault, this is the fault. Those blockages have to be minimized. Be critical, definitely, but try to make it better so that it goes to market.
Yes, madam. We thank you wholeheartedly. There is no further questions. So we thank you on behalf of Seshadi from Group of Institutions, AST, ST, IP Cell, and from North Bangalore Zones Forum wholeheartedly, madam, for your exclusive presentation and highlighting on the Patient and Innovation Campus. Hope so post-COVID will be calling you or requesting you to guide our faculties and students. So thank you, ma'am, so much for your patient presentation, wonderful explanation, and very informative session. Thank you, madam.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, madam. Now, may I request Nandini Dolpat madam? Yes, madam. Yes, madam. Very good afternoon, madam. And as you are a GI expert and you will be speaking on the promotion and local SMEs, so I know already we have introduced you to our SLI delegates on the day first. So today directly we would like to request you to giving much more time for our delegates to interact with you. And we request wholeheartedly on behalf of Seshadipuram and other collaborators to kindly explain us and guide us on GI protection and promotion for local MSMEs. Over to
Thank you, sir.
And I
Thank
think
you very much.
Yes, you can. Yeah.
So I hope today we have more participants and
Yes.
most of them are awake because this is a pre-lunch session. So there will be more interaction. I hope for that.
Yes,
So,
ma'am, definitely. All are from commerce, management, and languages. So the number is too high. So over to you.
Yes. So can you see the presentation? Can you see the presentation, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. May I ask you that any one of you were there in the earlier session yesterday, day before yesterday? Any participants? You were there in the previous session?
I want to put in the chat box. Yes. So, ma'am, you have to see the chat box so that no.
Okay. So, in between sometime, I may ask you to recall if you have attended the previous presentations. Some recap is required sometime. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. So this is the topic which is given to me, that geographical indications, protection and promotion and local MSMEs. Okay. So there are a lot of activities which are happening around this, GI registration, because once we go for registration, there is part A registration. I told you about the registration of goods and the product, and the part B registration is registration of authorized users. Okay. So when this happens, it means that it is complete. That is, the goods is registered and the makers of the goods, producers of the goods, they may be artisans kind of people who are all registered and they are authorized to use that particular GI tag for marketing their product. So that is the understanding. If you see the picture here, there are some examples of Darjeeling tea, California almonds, isn't it? Then very, very popular. What is this? One is Cafe Colombia, and what is this? Champagne, right? From France. It is very, very popular. So how this particular goods has gained popularity, and it is continuing its popularity, and it is protecting its rights over the period. Okay. So we have to think that one is the quality of production. There should be a consistency. Okay. Then the protection, because fake items may come into the market and they may use these particular tags for their prosperity. So how to avoid these fake goods? In our country, the producers, as I informed you in my earlier lectures, that they're rural people, most of them, the artisans or the farmers. Here is a beautiful, photograph on the left-hand side. This is Navalagunda Darri. Navalagunda is a village where they make carpets, Jamkana. It's very, very popular. Again, since more than 400, 500 years, they are into this particular craft. Okay. Then another goods which is very popular, this jasmine, malige. So there are three different jasmines which are registered in India, that is from Karnataka, Mangaluru, Mysuru, and Udupi Mallige. So all these three different varieties are registered. Okay. Then another example here, that is you are all very, familiar with this, very popular, your favorite, Dharwad Peda. Okay. So these are different commodities. One is the craft, another one is agriculture, another one is a food item. So there is no problem with the craft because it is not a perishable commodity. You can store it for a long period once you make it. But jasmine, again, it is difficult. It may last only for a day or maximum two, isn't it? Then peda, again, it is a perishable commodity. So I told you in the earlier lecture that this Alfonso mango was discarded earlier because it could not follow certain standards in the export market. But later, the farmers, they followed certain practices, standard practices, and they could again venture into the European market. And starting from sourcing of raw material, then processing, then packing, labeling, marketing, everything is very important. There should be a transparency because many people are involved in production. For example, if you say the dari making, jamkana making, okay? So many people are involved. It is like a cottage industry. Every house has their own loom and each person is different. So standard practice is required. For example, if they get an order for 100 yoga mats, so it should have some standard length, width, design, color, thickness, isn't it? So when they have to start and how much they can produce in 5 days, 10 days. So there should be some kind of protocol which should be followed by each and every. In the same way, if it is something like jasmine. So when they grow jasmine, how much they can produce. They should have a estimation. Each farmer can produce how much in a particular season. There is a seasonal changes, right? Whatever they can produce in quantity in monsoon, that varies from winter and summer. So there should be kind of approximate estimation how much they can produce and where they can market and how to store it for long period. For example, if it should reach the European market, somewhere England, France, or even American countries, there is a time lapse of 5 days, 6 days, even if it is by cargo, air cargo. So how it will be restored? So because even when they open it, they should be able to get the fragrance, isn't it? So there are certain technical requirements which are required, and these people, the producers, should be trying to understand the technical requirements and to follow the protocol. Okay. And even the packaging is very, very important. You must have heard about the vacuum packing. When you open the tea bags, cut open, it will make a sound because inside it is vacuum. Because otherwise, what happens? Other infectious agent which may even absorb moisture and other things. That's how vacuum is maintained inside that. So it will have a long shelf life. So these are the things which are to be keep in mind when you consider the marketing process. So I told you earlier also that we work with the local producers. So we have to sit with them, make them understand the importance of the registration. Then after registration, how they have to maintain the quality and what is the requirement of the customer, what kind of customers they can address and where they can sell. So all these are very important. So the understanding here is, what is it? Use it or lose it. So probably earlier it was like an independent business, but now once the registration happened, it is a collective certification mark. So each artisan can use the certificate, but unless they want to sustain in the market, they cannot get rid of standard protocols and procedures. So the right of the registered proprietor can be summarized as to authorize the exclusive use of the GI, that is the mark or the logo, which is granted by IP India office by the producer on his products and the goods, to obtain relief in respect of infringement by unauthorized users. I told you about the fake items. So earlier, at some point of time, around 10-15 years back, there was a lot of other textile which were sold in the name of Mysore silk. But later on, the KSIC Mysore silk, it took action over other such infringing, market agents, and all such other fake items were withdrawn. Such kind of sales and showrooms were closed, and now only the Mysore silk is produced by the KSLC, and they can only use the name KSIC Mysore silk. Okay, so any patent, for that matter, any kind of patent is guarded by a legal administration, and once you get a patent for any goods, so use it or lose it. So to use it, you have to have a standard practice. Okay, you should qualify all the qualities that you claim over that. Otherwise, you cannot sustain in the market. For example, this kind of things quite often happens in terms of like trademark or copyright. For the cases which quite happens is with the title of the cinema. Okay, immediately what they do, whenever they get some idea or anything, the producers, they register the name of the film. Just may not be any storyline, or they may not have any idea about when they are going to launch or produce and when they can release. But sometimes they get some idea and they register, but they don't use it for years, and other person cannot use the same name for their film. They cannot use the same title for their movie. So such things happen. So this is quite common in this country. In other countries, like if you consider America, Canada, if you register any name, okay, then you have to use it within 3 years. Otherwise, someone else can use that particular name. So here, what I'm trying to tell you is, when you say that something is yours, you should be able to make use of that particular name, that particular logo in the market. Otherwise, over the time, somebody will come and they may take it up. They may start using it. That time, after certain time, you may claim that, okay, I have registered it long back, due to some reasons I could not use it. You can say that, but you cannot climb over that. Okay, so these are the things which quite happens commonly, and any kind of legal action, if you want to take, you should have some kind of full strength, or you should have all the uh, you know case history and related documents to prove that this particular registration belongs to you. Okay, sorry, there's some problem. It's not at all moving. Sorry, it's not at all moving. Okay, so this is the example which I wish to show you, the promotion of geographical indications. Okay, this is one best example. Can you see the photographs here? Can you read, any one of you, what is written here? The first photograph, what it shows? Can you read, any participant? Especially ladies. Can any one of you read what is what you're seeing here on the left hand side? What kind of saree it is? Hello, are you listening?
Ma'am, chat box.
Okay. So this is Baluchari sari from West Bengal. Again, another one on the right hand side is Nakshikanta sari. So these are geographical indication registered goods from Bengal. Okay. So they have their own motives and there is a method of production and they are very popular since hundreds of years. So that's how they are registered. And Biswa Bangla, they are promoting all these products and it is doing very well. So they're supporting lot of, the weavers, especially the rural women who have developed this knowledge over generations and still they could practice because of the support provided by this Biswa Bangla. Another craft here you can see is, this is from Chhattisgarh. This is from Bastar region, both this, iron craft and also wooden craft, cast shilpa. So they are very popular. Bastar craft is very popular and again it is GI registered. So in that region, if you happen to go to that particular area, Bastar area in Chhattisgarh at any point of time, or even in Raipur,
Okay, okay, one cut ಮಾಡಿ ನಾಲ್ಕು ಕಟ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಓಕೆನಾ ಅದೇ ನಾಲ್ಕು ಮಾಡಾದ್ಮೇಲೆ
to practice it and to market it. Of course, there are so many other, initiatives which are required to continue with this particular art and craft. But however, there are, many art and craft, agricultural goods, then horticulture goods, then food items which are registered.
ನಮ್ಗೆ ವಾಟ್ಸ್ಆಪ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಮೇಡಮ್ ಹತ್ರ ಮಾತಾಡಿ ಒಂದು ಎಕ್ಸಾಮ್ಗೆ ಯಾವಾಗ ತನಕ ಕಟ್ಬಹುದು ಅಂತ ಮಾತಾಡಿ ಮೇಡಮ್ ಹತ್ರ ಓಕೆ ವಾಟ್ಸ್ಆಪ್ ಮಾಡಿ ನಮ್ಗೆ
So you can see here in the picture, there are many goods from different parts of this country and these are registered and each one is so unique and special. So a lot of, departments, government departments and also non-government agencies, they are working to promote this and help the, producers and artisans. So here you can see, again, I told you about this Huvina Hadagali, Mallige. Okay. It's some point of time, in the initial stages, horticulture department, it helped the farmers by giving some, supporting financial assistance. Okay. So can you read Kannada? Any one of you? You can go through this, news items. So there are other agencies like, here National Seed Association of India web page I'm showing you. This is the web page. Okay. So as I informed you earlier about there is a possibility for horticulture, agriculture products because even in Karnataka, if you consider Nanjangud Rasbale, Kamalapurada Kembale, so all these are registered, goods, agriculture and horticulture goods items. So if these, items has to be, transported to far off locations, then there should be some certain technical intervention starting from, even like plucking the fruit, then packing it, labeling it, all this, because all these are perishable commodity. And that customer don't like, even if there is some kind of softness in the fruit, or if they see some kind of injury, mechanical injury, or some kind of, like a spoilage, if they see, they don't like. So finally, we lose the market value. So to address such issues, this there are certain these agencies, they will help these agriculture producers to face such kind of challenges when farmers try to sell it outside the production area. And in the first picture I showed you, if you remember the first slide I showed you, an orchid. Orchid are very beautiful, and generally this is the season. In June, July, August, maximum September, they will flower. Most of them are epiphyte. Some of them are land orchids also. Most beautiful flowers, isn't it? So these orchids also has a lot of potential in terms of registration and also for the export. And some of the orchids like vanilla, which is very popular, okay, which you may use in quite often use in ice cream or even cake. So this vanilla is from an orchid. So if you are thinking about making any kind of business, then again there are a lot of regional agencies this is one example, bioresource institute. This is in Manipur, and also here you can see uh, Orchid Research Development Center. Okay, because a lot of orchids are grown in northeastern states, and Manipur is very popular for that. Okay, so they help in production also, because orchids are very seasonal. But in controlled conditions, you can find orchid flowering throughout the year, which is very popular in countries like Thailand. They are exporting. They have a lot of business associated with this. Not only in the parks where the tourist can go and visit, but also the production of orchid flowers has a very huge market for various purposes, for medicine purpose, for fragrance, they're very and also for decoration. It's very, very popular. So they have a setup. There are institution, orchid research institution, and they can help in cultivation of orchid and extraction of these whatever chemical formulations. So they can help if somebody is interested to take it up as a business. Then, so as another agriculture and processed food products export development authority, that is APIDA in short term. So here you can see in this particular screenshot, so important countries and regulations. So each country has their own regulation to import their goods. So you can visit this APIDA website and you can select the country of your interest and your, if you have any goods in your mind. So you can try to match if there is any requirement, and if there is a requirement, what are the guidelines for exporting. So here you can see Indonesian regulation, European Union regulation. Again, there is another regulation again from European Union, UAE regulation, Saudi Arabia regulation. So country wise you can go, and also product wise you can search what are the regulations. So how your product has to be collected, processed, and marketed in that particular country. What are the possibilities? Then again, as I showed you earlier also, India Trade Portal is there. You can go and check in India Trade Portal, whether it is GI registered goods, non-GI registered, or just you can go for some kind of, like trademark registration kind of thing. You can have your, business. Then India Mart, again, Hosur Rose is registered. Already they are into market. And there is another institution called Vishwesharaya Trade Promotion Center. They are also involved in training. They conduct training for various kinds of businesses, not just GI registration, for even if it is trademark registered or about to be registered, or if you want to have any kind of certification, even something like, wet grinders, Coimbatore wet grinders are GI registered. It is a non-perishable commodity. It is the assembly of different, kind of materials, right? And it is an electrically run machine. So there are different kind of certification marks are required for that. Apart from GI registration, of course, they have to compile with ISO certification and other things. But GI registration is once it goes for GI registration, it has to compile with all other kind of required registration. In terms of food registration, all know that ASSI registration is very much required. So all they should register, they should go through all such certification processes. Okay, so for that, this VTPC will help, and also for the entrepreneurship development. And if you are interested in, marketing in other parts of the country, other nations or countries, export oriented business if you want to do. So there are various career helpline guidelines, programs, and marketing programs, training programs, which keeps happening. And this is also one of the nodal agency for GI registration. And here I wish to bring your attention to this particular sector, which is very popular, very attractive sector, even during lockdown period. That these shops were open, isn't it? These spirits and alcohol shops were open. So in European Union, there are three different kinds of protection. That is, though it comes under GI registration, but they consider GI registration under three different categories. One is protected designation of origin. So you have to show the origin from where it is produced. Then protected geographical indication, PGI covers. Then traditional specialties guaranteed. What's this traditional specialties guaranteed? It can be produced in some other location, okay, but it should have the same qualities. For example, the simple understanding is like Davangere Benne Dose, which is made in Bangalore. There are many such outlets, hotels, that. So this is how the traditional specialties are covered, protected in European Union. So 332 were registered as on 2016 in under European Union, and e-spirits drinks database, you can find all this information. You can see this graph, and like Spain, Germany, Italy, Portugal, France, all these have their own registered goods. Okay. Then if you see this database, you can understand this. And when you say again about the protection, here is an example. The tequila, which is very popular alcoholic beverage from, it is produced in South America, Mexico. Then there was a case which happened in earlier in USA, and in USA they filed an application saying that they are producing again a alcoholic beverage in American company called Luxo. So they wanted to call it as a tequila, but later the decision has come saying that the fact of the TTB, US Department of Treasury, has classified tequila as a distinctive product of Mexico and prohibited the labeling of bottles as tequila if the product was not manufactured in Mexico. Okay, so you must have heard in Kannada about this Katale, Arjimon, sorry. This is a kind of, fencing material, Katale, which is used for fencing on the agriculture lands, especially in dry lands. Okay. And fiber is also extracted. So from that, the tequila is made. It is an alcohol beverage. So this tequila name can be used only when it is produced, the alcohol is produced in Mexico, but outside the Mexico that cannot be used. So this is the kind of legal protections which are available. But that's how most of the places in USA they use trademark as most strong marketing um, like label, uh, rather than going for GI. So here you can see a picture. This is mushrooms from Pennsylvania. Okay, and this is you can see the pineapple here. Sorry, on the left hand side. So this is from Costa Rica. So here it shows the place of origin, the label. It shows the place of origin. Okay, because going for any trademark registration is quite simple, not that complicated as GI registration, because GI registration talks a lot about historical evidences and other related technical documents. So when we were working in Tripura 5 years back, so one of the finest product produced which is registered is Tripura Queen pineapple. The pineapple, what we find here, sometimes you feel a kind of soreness, and it pricks your tongue when you try to eat the slice. That's why, pineapple juice is more popular than just eating pineapple like any other fruit, right? So, but this Tripura pineapple is very soft and very sweet. So this Tripura pineapple was registered 4 years back, and the horticulture department took lot of initiative in training these farmers, and already they started exporting since past 3 years. You can see here it is exported to Dubai. So they must have learned about all the export requirement for the particular uh, fruit, and that's how they could fall in line with their expectation, Dubai's import export expectations, and they could uh, transport it. So what the other possibilities of GI registration and promoting GI registration is Ministry of Tourism. So again, in tourism, if you consider, apart from travelers visiting these historical places and other attractive locations, they also think about uh, finding a local flavor, right? Finding a local flavor. So how is it possible? Here you can see this picture is taken at the airport of Goa, because a lot of visitors, tourists, visit Goa every year. Footfall is very large. GI store is opened at Goa airport, and here are the products. These are sourced from different parts of country. Different varieties of GI products are stored, and this is a special GI store. And in Karnataka, if you consider, if you are thinking about promoting tourism with GI registered goods, Karnataka is leading with 47 registrations, starting from, like Mysore silk, Mysore sandal soap, Mysore agarbatti, so all these, and different kinds of jasmine, and coffee are robusta. So like this, different type Coorg coffees, or different types of coffees are registered. And toys, Chanpatna toys. Then what is this? I showed you about even the rose, and also the onion. Rose onion is registered from Bangalore side, and grapes are blue grape. Bangalore blue grapes are registered. And if you go towards Mysore, then Madikeri, then Mangalore. Now recently, Udupi Sira is registered. Udupi Mallige is registered. So like this, there is a whole lot of things. So the best route is, there is a special a train for that. And if people travel from some North Karnataka to the coastal Karnataka, they can visit lot of historical places, very popular destinations, and also they can uh, experience the flavor of each destination, destination on their way. So is it possible if you can promote these things? Because if I can find everything, if I have to eat just idli dosa everywhere, why I have to go on tour, on travel, and finding different locations? Why I should go to Delhi? Why I should go to Mumbai or Calcutta if I have to eat the same idli dosa there? I go in search of something different. Not only the tourist places, but also I wish to have a certain, local flavor, isn't it? That's how people travel, to experience something new, something different. So if we can bring to the mainstream, business, all these local flavors, definitely there is a possibility that we can think about something called GI tourism. GI tourism is quite popular in European countries. And in the previous lecture, somebody was asking about some how to come up with the new innovation, patenting, and all this. So here you can see this website. This is Government of India website, MSME website. So if you have an idea, it can be something related to, tourism,
Madam, you can speak, ma'am.
sorry, it got disconnected. Mm.
So we are in another one meeting with Bangalore University Vice Chancellor, sir. So that's the reason. Sorry for the inconvenience.
It's okay. So you in the previous session, you were asking about the idea, how to bring forth your idea. So if you have an idea, it should have some kind of uh, tangible form. So just idea cannot be patented, you know that. So are you going to make an app or any kind of machinery, or you want to promote something like which is a traditional, goods? So any of these things, if you want to convert it into a form of, tradable commodity, then you can just check this website, MSME website. That is what which was given in the title of my lecture, right? So these they support all micro, small, medium enterprises. So you can based on the financial ability, you can think about how much you can, which one you can choose, either it is micro, medium, or whatever, small. So there is a cutoff, based on that financial cutoff, different categories. You can think about from where you can venture if you have an idea. So, so far, what are the number of applications which are, registered under these different categories is given here, H1B1. I was thinking about what is this H1B1? Is it not something like related to American visa? So, no, this is a host institution. Earlier, you were asking in the previous session, right, about how to become a part of this host institute. So, if your institute is interested, if you are if you have a technical expertise to advise or to help the entrepreneurs, you can be an incubation center. You can apply to become an incubation center. Okay. So then ideas and proposals 2744, then seeking capital proposal 65, seed capital proposal 10. So these are the kind of information which is available. So when you apply, your name and whatever your application related information will come on this website. So you can check in detail.
Madam, you are muted.
Can I speak now?
Yeah, yeah, ma'am. Yeah,
okay. So can you see this now? Can you see
yes,
the?
madam. Yes, madam.
Yeah, slide. So this particular program, that is entrepreneurial and managerial development of MSMEs through incubators. So if you are thinking about taking recognition as an incubation center, you can check uh, whether it is possible or not, and if there are some lacunas, you can try to fulfill those lacunas by getting information from MSME. So either it can be a individual or an institute. So both the facilities are there. So creativity of an individual and to promote adoption of latest technology in manufacturing, as well as knowledge based innovative that seeks the validation of the ideas at the proof of concept level. So you have to come up with something like a prototype, then you can think about and producing it in large scale. So this is an example I'm showing you in this picture. Recently, just 3 months back, when we visited, agriculture university at, uh, you know, agriculture university. There we could see yeah, the student from that university itself. Okay, he was able to come up with some of the um, products, like in Raichur area, in that area they produce a lot of millets. Nowadays there is a lot of demand for millets, you know that finger millet, horse-tail millet, and all these oats. So it has become very, very popular, and people are become, nowadays very crazy about their health. They are very health conscious. So he has come up with a novel idea of, whatever earlier millets were grown. So he visited the farmers and he was able to, source different types of millet and bring it into a packaged form. So they can use the millet for making any kind of, like bisi bele bath or wangi bath, something like that, which is ready to cook kind of millets. In Kannada, it is called same, navane, sajje. So all these, they're packed properly, collected, cleaned, and packed in a right way, and he's selling it because he is agriculture graduate. He know that very well. And there is a facility, there is an incubation facility where, they are providing place for them, missionaries for them. The technology is provided where they can, clean these different kinds of millets, and also, some kind of polishing is done, and proper, weighing, labeling. So all these are done. So this is how, it is already working in place. Then in case of, like formula, some kind of, some further processing if it is required. So here on the left hand side, you can see the fig. This is from, jam, fig jam. Fig andre gottalla? Atti hannu. So because in that particular area, it is a drier area, lot of fig trees are there. So they are collecting fig, and because
Madam, are you using PPT?
Yes, sir. You can't
No,
see?
we are not able to see PPT.
Just a moment. I think sir, can you see this now?
Yes.
Could you see this earlier one? Millets?
Yes.
Millets, which is packed in Agriculture University. So here it is the fig jam on the left hand side. Again, the processing, that is jam making from fig fruits, because fig you cannot store it for long period unless it is properly dried. And also there is a lot of demand for jam. So they are making fig, they're still standardizing this fig jam. And this is probably by this time it is already ready to give it out to market. So there are incubation centers. And here on the right hand side, you can see this picture, a can farming section. How the cans are very much required. For example, to store this jam, okay, the can and bottles which are very much required. So all this technology is already available, and even in GKVK, if you happen to visit GKVK, you can see this kind of incubation center. So this is, can you see this now? Oil. Nowadays, this cold press oil is has gaining lot of importance. Earlier, days, ಗಾಣದಲ್ಲಿ ಎಣ್ಣೆ ತೆಗೆಯೋದು ಅಲ್ವಾ? From Ghana. That is now it is called as cold press oil. Okay, so this again, this person in the red shirt, he was working there when we visited the Agriculture University in Raichur. So he showed us that he got a place there to work. He got the missionaries also, and he learned the technology. He was earlier working in some pharmaceutical company in marketing, so he understood the market requirement in Bangalore, and he went back and he started using the facilities available there, and he has come up with the product, this cold press groundnut oil. And you can see this picture. This is from Ministry of Rural Development, again Government of India. So Gramin Vikas Mantralay, again they are promoting lot of activities, rural activities. It can be something like painting, it can be some form of craft, agriculture related activity, or even some kind of traditional art forms like dance, drama, what they can do. All these different kinds of activities which are promoted. So this there is no one particular platform. There are different platforms, and you have to think what is your strength, in which area you can enter, what is the your goods produce which you can market. And you can visit all these different portals, and you can understand where you can fit in, and whether they provide you some financial assistance, or they give you some kind of trainings, or promote you to market your goods through their portals, their programs like exhibitions and interactive sessions. So these are some of the websites you can just log in and try to identify your interest, whether you can find help from this. Then you can see again Mission Antyodaya, all these again related to the skilled artisans, especially the skilled artisans. They don't have to come and end up with as a non-skilled laborer in the city. So they can think about the training, because already they are skilled, but how to address this present current market. So for that, some kind of training, market their product goods, how to do this. So all these facilities are provided. Ministry of Rural Development. Then again, entrepreneur skill development. So if you want to continue as take up your career as an entrepreneur, so industrial motivational campaigns, there are like 2 days training programs available, 2 weeks available, awareness program, and also entrepreneurship comes skill development program. If you are from an artisan family, this is the best thing. So 6 weeks program will be there, management development program, 1 week program. So all these are really very beneficial if you have any kind of interest to take it up. Okay. Then again, development of Khadi village and Kair. It is written like Khadi village because this is quite popular. These terminologies are quite popular, but otherwise also they are really helpful. This website, if you go through that, MSME, again, it is from MSME. So there are different, activities which keeps happening, and you have to just enter into that and find out what is possible from you. And again, this is recent news. So Koppal village is very popular for toy making, Koppala village. And this is one of the, aspiration districts. So a lot of, developmental activities keep happening. So the people who are living, the artisans who are living here, they may find shortage of the raw material. So to help them and also to assist them with new tools, machineries which are available, maybe something like in a lathe, a turning machine, which is very important for them to venture into the new market, right? So all these kind of help are available, and a lot of programs are already started. Okay, then land identified for textile development. This is in relation to Udupi saris, which is registered just 2 years back, GI registered Udupi saris. Okay, already they are into the market, they are into online sales. Just type Udupi in saris, it will come. Okay, the website, you can get into that. So to help these rural women, the artisans, a textile park will be developed soon. And this is one of the best things which happened during, like this last year lockdown period. So these are the examples. You can say that, these articles are very small, but however, these articles gained a lot of significance and importance during the uh, period of this complete lockdown, when these artisans were not finding any avenue to market this. So from Varanasi, this wooden craft, which was marketed, lacquerware and toys were also marketed. And before, this is just a glimpse of one of the WhatsApp message that I have received from GI Artisans Group. Okay, uh, more than 50,000 pieces of this GI wooden Rakhi was already sent for commercial purpose to Delhi for sales through online and offline, provide much opportunities to women artisans at Varanasi, is one of GI craft. Okay, so these are the things which keeps happening. And you're all familiar with this Chanpatna toys. Okay, so they have come up with recently, even not only just toys, gods and goddesses, this sculptures and dolls, but also something like ornaments, bangle, and also the necklaces. So there are different varieties of Chanpatna toys which are coming up very recently. And if you get an opportunity to go there and visit, there is a central facility. If you have an opportunity, go to Chanpatna, visit the central facility which is provided for these artisans, woodcraft artisans. It is a huge area, and a lot of activities keeps happening. There are sheds which are given to the artisans, and also equipments like lathe and other things which are provided, electricity facility, and raw materials are provided. So it is really very beautiful, very near to Bangalore. You must go if you are, if you are interested in terms of, business development. It will give really, absolute understanding about how these kind of crafts, the local craftsmen, they are getting benefits in this kind of, central facilities. So Make in India, under that, there are a lot of initiatives which are started, which are happening. But however, if we don't think about conservation, that is biodiversity conservation, conserving land, conserving forest, conserving water, where we get the raw material for all these? Because we have to think about our nature, our surrounding. Now you have seen the worst scenario of how there was a problem for oxygen. So if you think that we have to survive, then we have to conserve the nature. So just marketing, business development doesn't happen only with just machineries and construction. If we have to survive, we have to think about our nature, and we have to think about conserving our nature, the natural resources which is available around us. Okay. With this, I wish to stop here, and if there is any question, you can ask me.
I may request all the participants, delegates, to kindly ask if you have any queries. Yes, there is one question in the chat box, ma'am. Can we register age-old food recipes under GI?
Can we register age-old food recipe under GI? Yes, it is possible. You have to provide all the required documents, the historical documents. The GI registration per se, it says that it should be very popular from a particular region. So if there is any such thing, like I told you about Dharwad Peda, which is made only from Dharwad, from a particular group of people, and they have given all the information about since how many years it is very popular, and from where they source the raw material. So all this documentation is very much required. Okay. And another best example is Tirupati Laddu. So it has the smallest, geographic map. I told you, you have to provide a map, geographic map of the area of production. That is the smallest, because that is the temple kitchen. So this Tirupati Laddu, they have given all the technical information apart from the historical documents. So if you go to, IP India website, in the menu, you will see GI. Okay, click on that, and it will again take you to the applications, different applications. You can click any one of your interest, and you can see what are the different, supporting documents that they have given along with their application for registration. Because now all the information is available in the website. You can visit the websites. You can find out all the related information. Okay.
Yes, madam. Thank you, madam, so much for your information and sharing all about the details. We wholeheartedly thank you, madam, for your kind information and explaining all about GI and the promotion local MSMEs. So we thank you wholeheartedly on behalf of Seshadri from Group of Institutions and all our joint collaborators, North Bangalore Science Forum, ASCST IP Cell. Thank you, madam, so much. And we'll now break for the lunch, and we'll be back at 2 o'clock. And I think,
sir, Shantanu sir, just a small changes regarding yesterday we have missed the commercialization session for faculty of commerce and management students. Okay, because Sanjay Kumar sir need to take the session, but unfortunately we couldn't have that session. Hence, Dr. Sahu sir will take the session in the afternoon, sir, for management people. Okay. Yeah, no, not 2 to 3, from 3 to 4. 2 to 3, I will be engaging the faculties on IP quiz and case studies, sir. Okay. Okay, so 2 to 3, I will be engaging here. And Brunda madam will take the session for science students. Okay. Okay, sir. Because yesterday they had discussed here in this session. Okay. So that's why, for science students, she will be taking. Okay, sir.
Okay, sir. Done.
Yes. 2 to 3, madam will take that, and after that, Vivek will continue with the case studies and the quiz there. Okay. So here I will be taking 2 to 3 quizzes, and 3 to 4 they will have the IP commercialization session.
Thank you, sir. So I request all the delegates to kindly put P as for the yes, and then you can go for lunch, and we'll be back at 2 o'clock. Thank you. Thank you, one and all.
Yeah. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Yes.